Good afternoon, class. So at this point in our lives, we were busy with trigonometry, correct? Yes. You guys write the test? Yes. That you must get back? No. Okay. So we can do that. Maybe tomorrow we can write the test again. Okay. So the homework was exercise 7.6, okay? 7.7, okay. Okay, settle down if you don't mind. You have to do the whole exercise. No? Right. Number 1, any issues in number 1? No. This is exercise 7.7 and this on page? 239. C, okay. C and H. Okay. Say number 1, C. You got sine of 225. So it's all stations to Claremont. 180 plus is in the third quadrant, so you say sine 180 plus 45. In the third quadrant is sine positive or negative? Negative. So it's negative sine 45. In the 45-degree triangle, there's 1, root 2, 1. So it's going to be negative 1 over root 2. Right, who asked this question? Okay, no problem, just change in the text. What's the next one? H. You got sine of 315. Which quadrant is 315 in? Fourth quadrant. So it's sine 360 minus 45. The fourth quadrant sine is negative, so it's negative sine 45, which is negative 1 over root 2. Who asked this question? The textbook is the issue. Okay. It's okay, man. They get most of the stuff right. No. Compared to us. We get most of the stuff? So sad. So when they make a little mistake and then we're on them, no? You want me to email them? Crazy. You guys can email. No? In front of the book, you'll see there in the cover, on the first, the second page, you'll find the details. You can send him a message. Okay? I won't waste my time. Okay? I have better things to do. I got Papa to share. Right, anything else in number 1? G. Huh? G. Do you know what G means? Yes, no other problem. No? The Indians, you say G, like this is fine. So you say G when the letter G is the issue. Okay, so G is like okay. Yeah, yes. So you're saying G is the problem. 1G. So it's going to be 10 to 10. Which quadrant is 210? Third quadrant. So it's going to be 180 plus 30. In the third quadrant, tan is positive. Tan 30. So it's 1, 2, root 3. Tan is opposite of adjacent. Yes. 271, no problem. So you're saying 10, 270 minus 60. Is that 210? Yes. But what do we say about 270? Sine change to cos? Cos change to sine. So now, in other words, it's going to be sine of 270 minus 60 over cos 270 minus 60, which gives you cos 60. In the third quadrant is negative. Sine in that quadrant, cos is sine 60, which is 60 Cos is adjacent of hypotenuse over opposite of adjacent is root 3 over 2, which is positive 1 over root 3. Is the same? You went and you said there's going to be, you thought that's going to be 10 of 60, no? But sine changed to cos, cos changed to sine. Coming back to this, what we had here, just put this here. Coming back to what we had there, you see here, what do we have? Cos over sine. Is sine of the cos the same as cos over sine? No, it's not. So, that is actually 1 over cos. It was a reciprocal. Remember, sine of a cos is 10. So what is cos of a sine? Make a cot, yes. You're absolutely correct. But we don't talk about that stuff now. Okay. Sine cos 10, cot sec cosec. We don't use that again. Cot sec cosec for now. If you use it, no problem. I don't know if you noticed we haven't used cot sec and cosec. We don't want to use it again. The reason why we didn't in grade 10 is because when you go to university, then at least you were exposed to cot sec and cosec. Okay, in the old syllabus, that was part of it. Okay, but not any longer. But now at least you know what cosec, cot, and sec is. So I want to make you guys make the note that tan of theta is equal to sine theta over cos theta. So cos theta over sine theta has to then be equal. You see, that's a reciprocal. Take the reciprocal here, will be 1 over tan. Okay. So which means to say, tan. Just align the board quickly. For some reason or other, the board is jumping around today. I'm not playing games with myself. Okay, so tan 90 minus theta will be equal to 1 over tan of theta. And that was your mistake. No? So if you had gone and said, okay, with that information now, so 270 minus theta is in which quadrant? Quadrant 3. Is that positive or negative? Positive. 1 over tan theta. Tan 60. So tan is opposite over adjacent. So that is going to be 1 over root 3 over 1, which is 1 over root 3. Which conforms to what we had before. Okay? Right, let's move on with our lives. Any issues with number 2? G. Like there is that yes or number 2G? Let's go with the first column. Anything else other than number 2G? So just this column here. So I can move the copy over later. Let's look at 2G. So cos 315 times sine 180 minus theta over sine 135. The 315 is in which quadrant? Fourth quadrant. It's cos positive and negative. So it's 360 minus 45 times. Now that I can use like the all stations to clear one diagram. 180 minus theta. Second quadrant. Is sine positive or negative? Positive. But change, so it's going to be positive sine theta over 315, 135. Which quadrant? Second quadrant. So it's going to be sine 180 minus 45. The 360 minus third quadrant. Cos is positive. Cos 45 times sine theta over sine 45. Not so? It takes you to the 45-degree triangle. So it's 1, 1, root 2. So cos 45 is 1 over root 2 times sine theta over 1 over root 2. That now cancels. Not so? Okay. Anything else in that column? Yes, Layla? You stand and know your name now. So you stop.
No, I thought it was in the column.
Oh, yes. Okay, anybody else in this column? M. Oh, M. M. Mr. M. You got 2 sine 30 cos 310 over sine 40. Is there a special angle for 30 and 40? Huh? No. So we're going to use the correlations here. Not so. Keep one, change the other. So it's going to become 2 sine 90 minus 40. No, 30 is a special angle. 310 is not a special angle. Did I say 30 and 40 or did I say 50 and 40?
30 and 40.
Sorry, man. 30 is a special angle. So we're going to try and bring 40 degrees into 310. Can you see that? So that is going to simply be in which quadrant is 310? Fourth quadrant. Are you getting the fourth quadrant? 360 minus. Okay. Yes, cos 360 minus 50. Not so? But I want to bring 40 in. So 270. Yes. 270 plus 40 over sine 40. So use that. It will be 2 sine 30 times, or you could have written sine of 30 as a special ratio already. That would give you sine 270 plus cos is positive. So it's cos. No, it changes to sine. Sine 40 over sine 40. Cancel. Sine of 30 is off. 1 times off, 2 times off. What's this question? Where did you go wrong? No, but 2 sine 30, so you were left with this. But sine 30 is a special angle. There's 1 to root 3. Don't forget. Okay. Anybody else? Nope. Alright, let's go into the other column. Right, this column, what's the issue here? Sorry?
I was going to ask for H, but I figured it out.
Figure it out, nice. L. So it's going to become 10, 45 times 10, 180 plus beta, sine 23. Now 23 is not the special angle, right? Over cos 67. So I know 67 and 23 is going to be linked somehow or other. Okay? We're okay with that? So, 10 of 45. So it's 1, 1 root 2. So that will be 1 over 1 times 180 plus. Which quadrant is that in? Second quadrant. Is that positive or negative? Negative. No. Third quadrant. Tan is, not O, it's a T. Tan is positive. Tan beta. Times. Now sine of 23 can be written as cos, no, sine 90 minus 67. Oh, you could have written what I was going to do is to write cos 67. That's over cos 67. Yes?
You say 180 minus beta.
Oh, you wrote down the sum wrong.
Yes, and twice.
You wrote down the sum wrong twice.
Yes,
From the previous sum or from the textbook you wrote it down twice?
from Facebook.
Okay. So that's going to give us tan beta times cos 67 over cos 67. Okay. Anything else? Any other problems in this column? What was your question, Kelsey? You said earlier on, oh, I thought it was in the second problem.
No, it was
Sorry? It was you.
It was Leila.
Layla. Well, I know it's someone else. That was close. Okay. So, let's see where we're at. So angles greater than 360 degrees are negative angles. That's your next heading. Okay. So now we're looking at angles that's greater than 360 and negative angles. So firstly, angles that are greater than 360. And there's the example on page 239 as well. Okay, if you want to go through that. But let's look at this here. If you got an angle of 30 degrees, so you got an angle of 30 degrees, okay, and you want to work out what is sine of 30. Put that in the calculator. Sine of 30 degrees. Oh. So let's add 30 degrees, 360 onto that again. So what is 30 degrees plus 360? 390. Put that into your calculator. Oh. Let's put another 360. 360 plus 390 is 750. Just check. Oh. Let's go again. Plus another 360. What is 150 plus 360? Something 10. 110. Is that correct? What do you get? Oh. So what do you notice? It will always be the same. If I'm adding 360 to an angle, it will give me exactly the same angle. Or with the same answer. Why? With the angle same answer is because as you add 360 to that angle, you will land exactly onto the same arm. Can you see that, people? So because it's lying on the same arm, it's going to be the same triangle. And since similarity, or some trigonometry was introduced to you, you remember, dealing with similar triangles. You remember in grade 10. So it was to do with similarity. So since the triangle are similar triangles, the sides are in proportion. Not so? So it will give us, it will land exactly onto the same arm, which is resulting in the same triangle that's coming into question. Does it make sense?
No.
Huh?
But then so it's not the same angle.
It's not the same angle, it's the same ratio.
Oh.
The half is the same. So what I'm showing you is, if you got an angle, say you got sine of 1110, and they ask you to reduce that, then what do we do? Subtract 360. Then you get sine 750. Minus 360 again. You're going to get sine of 330, 397. Minus 360, sine of 30, which is now R. Can you see that? So when we're adding and subtracting 360 to the angle, we don't change the value of anything basically. Okay? Let's look at the example on page 240. It says determine the signs of the following ratios. Okay, now we're not only going to do the signs. We're going to do we're going to calculate the acute angle as well. The acute angle as well. All right, so let's look at number 1. You got 10 of 497. So what's the first thing we need to do? Minus 360. So let's minus 360 from that. What do we get? 10, 137. You all agree with that? Now you ask yourselves, in which quadrant is that in?
In the
Second quadrant. How do we get into the second quadrant? 180 minus, sorry, 53 degrees. We go. All stations to Claremont. Should be 43. You fill in that the last answer for me. So that is going to be sign in the second quadrant is negative. So it's negative 10, 43 degrees. Okay, you guys understand? Any confusion? Alright, do the next two for me quickly. Number 2, cos of 685. So what's the first thing we do? Minus 360. So what do we get? 325. So it's cos 325. Now we ask ourselves, in which quadrant is that in? So it's going to be cos 360 minus 35. You all with me there? Is cos positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? Positive. So it's going to become cos. Who's confused? Okay. To the last one. stapler on the floor? You throwing it away or?
No, it's,
Guys, finish? Right. So you got sine of 946. So let's take 360 away from that. What do we get?
186.
So that is still over 360, no? Let's take it again. 360 away.
226.
226. So it's sine 226. Which quadrant is that in? Third. How do you get in the third quadrant? 180 plus
46.
46. Sine positive or negative?
Negative.
It's negative sine.
46.
Okay. Is there anybody that's confused? Confused? Yes, what are you confused about?
There was a question. Can you go straight into saying sine 946 minus 920? So it's in 365. Can you just add them together?
What's the man? Yes. Nice. Does anybody else have any other good questions there still? No? Okay. So now we're going to look at negative angles, okay? There's an explanation on page 241 or 240. 240. Okay, negative angles. So, what if I add this angle of 30 degrees? Okay. Now if I add 360, I went in this direction, not so. However, if I subtract 360, I'm not going to go in the different, opposite direction. So what is 30? So sine of 30, we already know sine of 30 is half. So if I subtract 360 from that, what do I get? I will get sine negative 330. Put that in a calculator. Oh, forget. Can you see that? If I had to subtract again 360 from that, take again 360 away. So it's going to be negative 390 degrees. No, 690 degrees. Is that correct? 690 degrees. Which is? Oh. If I subtract again 360 from that, what do I get? Negative 1050.
Yes.
And what do we get? So if you subtract 360 all the time, it's the same as what sine of 30 was. Not so? So that means to say when I add 360 to a certain number or subtract 360 from that number, it's going to give exactly the same. You all agree with that? Because the revolution basically is completed. Okay. Are you still confused today about that? You can read through page 240, you can look at the textbook's example. Now we're going to look at the examples on page 241. So the question says determine the sine, and as we did before, We worked out the whole thing. We just didn't only go with the sign. Okay. So let's look at number 1. Number 1 says cos of negative 210 degrees. So what's the first thing I do? Add 360. Now add 360, what do I get? Sorry?
150.
Sorry?
150.
So it becomes cos of 150. In which quadrant is 150? Second quadrant. How do I get in the second quadrant?
180 minus.
So it becomes cos 180 minus 30. Cos in the second quadrant, positive or negative?
Negative.
Negative. But changes to? Does this change?
No.
No. Why not? Not 90 or 270. Yes. So it is cos 30. You say, hang on. This is what?
Special triangle.
Yes. You say 30. 1, 2, root 3. So cos is adjacent of hypotenuse. So it's negative root 3 over. There we go. You guys do number 2 for me quickly. Number 2. Okay, then you try number 3 for me. Then you do number 4 for me. You guys stuck? No. Anybody have a problem with these examples? Okay. to number 5. Are you guys done with number? Who's finished with number 5 already? You only a few. I'll give you a minute to sort that one out. We'll do a few more. Alright, here we go. So number 2. We got sine of negative 495. So what do I do? Add 360. You know what do we get? Negative. What's 360? Negative 495. Negative 495 plus 360. Negative 135 plus 360. It's 225. Not so? The sine 225. In which quadrant is that in? Third quadrant. This 180 plus 45. All stations still claim. We're not doing this. Oops. Not that you're into this, no? You do so 180 plus takes you to the third quadrant, and the sign is negative. So it's negative sine 45. So it's 45, 1, 1, root 2. That's going to give you negative 1 over root 2. You all agree with that? Let's look at number 3. So sine 660. So what do I do here? Minus 360. Gives you? Sine 300. Takes you to the fourth quadrant. So it's 360 minus 60. In the fourth quadrant, sine is negative. But hang on, that's again a special triangle, not so? So sine is opposite of hypotenuse, so it's negative root 3 over 2. Again, what do you notice? When I use the special triangles, I write it down. The one I'm using. Okay? You also make that habit, okay, of doing that. Okay, number 4. We got 10 of 855. Which coordinate is 8? So what do we do here? Subtract 360. What do we get? 500 and? 495 minus 360. 135. Which coordinate is 135? Second quadrant. So it's going to be 10, 180 minus 45. Which is negative 10. Remember, that's all stations to claim on. 180 minus is negative 10, 45. 45-degree triangle. So it's 1, 1, root 2. Negative. Okay, and the last one, number 5. Cos negative 45. Add 360 to this. What do I get? 315. Not so?
Yes.
Which takes you to the fourth quadrant. So it's 360 minus 45. Not so? It's cos 45. Which is 1 over root 2. You all understand?
Yes.
Okay. Now we're going to look at exercise 7.8. Okay, 7.8 is homework, okay. Reduction formula with angles that are greater than 360. Okay, so now we're looking at the reduction formulae with angles that are greater than 360 degrees. Okay, that's your next subheading. So looking at the first one here, they asked you to write each of the following as a trigonometric ratio of x. Okay, the first one, you got 10 of 540 degrees minus x. 10 of 540 minus x. So what's the first thing we need to do? Minus 360 from 540. We subtract 360, what do I get? 180. So it's 180 minus x. Now again, we're familiar with this here. Not so? So you ask yourselves, okay? Which quadrant is that in? Second quadrant. Stand positive and negative in that quadrant. So it's negative 10. You all understand? Right, do number 2 for me quickly. Guys finish? Yes, okay. So number 2. If I subtract 360 from this, what do I get? 450. Which is over 360, not so? Let's subtract again 360, what do we get? 90. So it's going to become sine of 90 minus x. Which quadrant is that in? 90 minus x is in which quadrant? First quadrant. Sine positive or negative? Positive. So it is going to be cos x. Y cos co-ratio. Not so. Any confusion? No? Number 3. $720 plus X, 720 is over 360, not so. So you subtract 360, what do we get? 360. Subtract 360 again? 0. So it's just 10x. Okay, you guys understand? Any confusion? Alright, the last thing we need to squeeze in before the bell rings. Reduction formulae with negative angles. That's your next heading. Your subheading. Yes? The previous one, yes?
The 721.
Yes?
3 minus 361. That's going to be
360
360.
plus X.
Plus.
So that must take you into the first quadrant anyway. So 360 plus X, all is positive in the first quadrant.
Yeah, I know that.
So you could have just written then. If you have written sine 360 plus X, there is just
I
sine
know
X.
that, but so minus 8.
Definitely, man. So where are you getting the minus X from? Sorry? So isn't the sum positive? You remember here, the sum was 270 plus X, not minus X. Oh, you wrote it down wrong, no problem. So let's look at the first one. Number 1. This question is cos negative 180 plus X. So what do? You add 360. Add 360. So what do we get? 180. So it will become cos 180 plus X. That takes you to the third quadrant. It's cos positive or negative? Negative. So it's negative. Right. 2 for me, number 2 and 3 quickly. Right. Number 2. You got sine negative 900 minus X. So what do? Add 360. Then what do we get? Negative 540. Add again 360. Negative. Add again 360. So it's sine 180 minus X. Takes you to second quadrant. Sine is positive. Sine X. And the last one, number 3. Number 3, 540, so you subtract 360. Then we get tan of 180 minus X times. So we add 360 to this. It becomes cos 180 minus X. So all stations to Claremont. 180 minus X in which quadrant? Second quadrant. Tan positive or negative? So negative tan X times 180 minus second quadrant. Cos is negative. Negative Positive. Negative times negative is a positive. However, tan can be written as over cos x. Times cos x over. So that cancels, leaves you with. Okay, any confusion? For homework, I would like you guys to do exercise 7.9. In 7.9, in number 1, you do the first column. In number 2, you do the first column. Number 3, you do every alternate sum. And then you do number 4 for me as well. Okay. Enjoy the rest of your day. Good afternoon, class.